I find it strange, and this is not for or against Luke Carney. I find it strange anybody that watched those 3 series and was able to determine anything about Luke Carney. Like, he didn't throw the ball more than, 5 yards down the field? No, he didn't throw an interception. They took him out of the game on 3rd and 9. I don't think it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it wasn't anything. So basically, all of the decisions on Luke are still based off what they're seeing in practice. We've all seen the terrible crap in the game that's come from Ricky. How he's thrown 70,000 interceptions here the last 3 games. I exaggerate way less than we wish I did right there. But it's tough right now, where if you don't think Carney's ready, what do? That said, there's the other side of the coin. I mean, I know Pitt was playing a true freshman quarterback in Heinschel. Sometimes you toss a young guy out there and you just let him go. Like, sometimes you just toss a young guy out there and you just let him go. But it feels like, if I'm to read between the lines here, it feels like to me that what they are seeing in practice is that Ricky is still ahead of the other quarterbacks. Carney, Jakari Williams, whatever his injury status is, Rich Beelan, whoever else is on the team right now. Dan Filari, whoever else is on the team right now, that he is still in front of the line on that. Everything we see in the game is that we would like somebody else to be in front of the line. They're in a tough spot. And this feels really different than, we had this conversation a lot back mid-Dino years when it was Schrader and DeVito, where the season where Schrader took over for DeVito and then they started winning, you're like, well, how did they not know this in practice? It's one of those things. Back in that time, I think, what they saw then in DeVito in the practice, DeVito was the better guy. What you couldn't see in a practice there is all the other stuff Garrett did with the running and whatnot. When it comes to Ricky and Carney, I think they are similar-ish. It's not totally different styles like Schrader and DeVito were. That I don't know. I don't know if it's like they're totally. I don't think they'd be just totally whiffing on something in practice. And obviously they practice differently than Dino did. I do wonder, though. Fran has been so against the idea of it, at least stating it out loud. Like, do you just auto give them a few series? Do you? And I know I hated this when it happened for an entire season. We talked about this last week. 1999. Donovan McNabb is gone. I'd say that would be kind of similar this year to Kyle McCord being gone. You've lost an all-time program great, obviously, McNabb for the career, McCord the single season he had this year. They replaced, they got Angeli, whatever. All right, but in 99, they had Nunes and Medee Williams. And Nunes got 2 series and Medee Williams got 2 series. And they'd go back and forth. I do wonder now, if you talk about planning, prep, getting guys ready, being able to put guys in a position to feel comfortable, do you give Collins the first 2 series of the game, and then do you give Carney the next 2 series of the game, regardless of what's going on in the game? I normally hate that. And I wonder now if that's not the best, path of action right now. That when Ricky has his 2 series, he knows pretty much exactly what's going to happen. When Luke has 2 series or whatever, however you want to split it up, he can go into the game, albeit not to start, but go in knowing pretty much what the deal is. And then after that, you can figure out the rest of the game. I think that would be kind of different to what happened this game, because that was not a Luke auto goes into the game at halftime last game. That was Ricky really, really struggled in the first half. So if you're going to do it, I say do it with a plan regardless of what's happening in the football game. Just commit to it. You've talked about how it's a developmental year for the quarterbacks. Commit to it and do it, and then go from there. I think that's better for Carney, knowing that if he's going to come in, it's okay, he knows I'm coming in. These are my plays. This is what I got. I think it's also better for Collins because now he's not from the start looking over his shoulder. He knows I got 2 series, then he's got 2 series, but Collins can say to himself, all right, I'm going to go and kill it in these 2 series, and then I'll get back in the game later because I killed it in these 2 series. Now, reality could prove different, but I normally hate that. I detest it in most circumstances. I think now, going into game 8, what we've seen for the last month post Angeli's injury, I think that makes a lot of sense. And then after that, to your point, San Diego Q's, then you'll have had a sense and you can figure out where to go for the next few series or the rest of the game or whatever. But normally I hate that. I hate it. I don't think it works. But in this scenario, I think